Hi there, I'm Pharaoh481, or for short, just Pharaoh. Now, I have a certain tactic when dealing with Shockofgod's question, and I felt that I should share this tactic with the rest of the atheist community. Now, you should note that this tactic is not a logical argument that should be used. Merely, it is something I personally use to deal with disingenuous people. So, let's get on to the tactic. Alright, first you have Shockofgod and his question. The question that an atheist can't answer. Although many people have tried to answer this question, Shockofgod simply doesn't accept any of the answers he gets. And that's because he's not doing it to get an answer, he's doing it to get attention. So, the only way to turn this around is to give him the unwanted attention that he doesn't want. In other words, you have to turn it around. Some people simply deal with Shockofgod by blocking him and his trolls. I personally don't think that blocking a troll is that effective. Instead, what I like to do is troll the troll, or as I like to call it, reverse trolling. In order to do a reverse troll, you have to analyze what the troll does, copy it, and then put it back in a form that they themselves use and use it against them. Okay? Now this can be accomplished by a simple set of steps. Step number 1. When approached by a Shockofgod troll or Shockofgod himself, and they pose the question that atheists can't answer. First, you need to set terms. What I mean by set terms is that whenever they say, can I ask you a question, or will you answer a question of mine, or they simply state the question, this is the time for you to set terms. But what I mean by that is that you say, I will not answer your question unless you agree to answer one of my questions. It's only fair that way. I answer one of yours, you answer one of mine. You have to get them to agree to this single point. If they agree, you let them ask their question. If they do not agree, you now have grounds to not answer their question based on fairness alone. It's not that you can't answer the question, it's that you choose not to answer the question because they are being unfair and will not answer one of your own questions in response. Okay, so they have agreed to answer one of your questions after you answer their question. Great, we're on the right track here. First, you let them pose their question. What proof and evidence do you have that proves atheism is accurate and correct? That is the question that they always ask. And all you have to do is answer the question in any specific way that you want. Some people say that there is no evidence. Some people list specific points of argument as evidence. But ultimately none of these really get accepted. But that's not the point of the tactic. You are simply answering the question. You are keeping your side of your word. Okay? You made an agreement to answer questions, and that's what it's all about. So you've answered their question. Now they must answer your question. Now simply to troll the troll, all you have to do is think of an unanswerable question for them, and then ask them that question. For the Shockofgod trolls and Shockofgod himself, since they are Christian, this is quite easy to come up with an unanswerable question. Who created God? That happens to be one of my favorite ones. And you have to phrase it exactly that way. Who created God? Not how was God created, or what created God, or why God was created. Who specifically created God? Now for Christians, this is an unanswerable question. It's not that there isn't an answer, it's that they don't want to answer it, because as far as their position goes, there is no who. So at first they may muddle about and be like, well, that's not properly phrased right. All you have to do is point out that they're dodging the question, exactly like Shockofgod does when he points out atheists and them dodging the question. If they happen to respond to the question that nobody created God, you just have to simply say, I'm sorry, nobody's not a person. You have not answered my question. Please answer my question. So you can just pester them further on and on and on. You can even go to their channel and troll the trolls channel. Just post your question and demand that they answer it. Demand to know who created God. By using the question, who created God, you in effect reverse things on Shock of God, and you create the question that theists cannot answer. And if you want, you can do a little bit of ponage and throw it back in Shock of God's face and say, hey, you got a question atheists can't answer? I got a question you can't answer. So, that's how you deal with trolls. Now, if any of you out there would like, since I came up with this tactic, it's kind of mine, but if any atheist out there wants to use this tactic, please feel free to do so. You can even use my question. With that in regards, feel free to mirror this video so that every atheist on YouTube can find a way to troll the trolls. Don't block them anymore, troll back. Thanks for watching.